All right, let's talk about the 9 signs that he's distancing himself from you. Have you ever been in a relationship where everything felt great until all of a sudden it just didn't anymore? Maybe he's still there physically, but emotionally, you feel like he's checked out, and now you're left questioning absolutely everything, right? You're wondering, did I do something wrong? Is he pulling away, or is this all in my head? Here's the thing. When a man starts to distancing himself, it doesn't happen overnight. The same way how it is for women, like we don't check out like from one moment to another. The signs are very subtle at first, but once you know what to look for, they become glaringly obvious. So today we want to dive into these 9 signs that he's distancing himself from you so you can stop second guessing yourself and you can figure out what's really going on and what you can do about this. So let's get into this. So the first sign that always comes to mind is he's not as communicative anymore as he used to be. Remember when he used to send you these good morning texts and these good night calls, and you just hearing his voice, or he wanted to hear your voice, and he send you these memes and throughout the day, and all of a sudden this seems to slow down or stops altogether. That's one of these major signs that he's pulling back, because communication is a timeline of any relationship. And when he's distancing himself from you, that's the first thing that starts to, disappear. And maybe he's responding with like one-word answers, taking hours to reply, or skipping these little check-ins that used to make you feel so connected to him, right? And this shift isn't just about being busy, it's about prioritization. If he's not making an effort to stay in touch, it's a sign his focus is drifting elsewhere. The second sign is he stops initiating plans. You used to have these spontaneous date nights, weekend trips, or even like lazy Sundays planned out weeks in advance. But now you're the one doing all the work to keep the relationship moving forward, to keep it going, to have some sort of energy moving. But when a man is emotionally invested, he wants to spend time with you. It's that simple. If he stops initiating plans or seems indifferent when you suggest them, it's a clear sign he's emotionally pulling back. We don't know exactly why, but just pay attention to this, because how he responds when you bring up plans, is he enthusiastic about it, or does he act like it's just another obligation? If it's the latter, something has shifted. Ladies, stop chasing men. Even when he pulls back or loses interest, or you feel like he's slipping away from you, what you do in that moment can make all the difference between him feeling like you're just like all the other women he's ever met, or it can make him realize and feel you're so unique and special, and exactly the type of woman he wants something real with, something he wants to build with, causing him to chase you, to invest in you, and prove to you that he is the right man for you. There's this 12-word text message that you can send to a man that gets his attention almost immediately and makes him realize that it was a mistake to pull away from you in the first place. If you want to find out what that 12-word text message is, then I highly recommend you check out this brand new video that I created for you. I linked it in the description below. Just click the link, and now let's go back to the video. The third one that I want to bring up is he's less affectionate to you. And we all know affection isn't just about physical touch. It's about to being emotionally close to them. Maybe he used to hold your hands, cuddle on the couch, or, give you these little kisses just because. But now it feels like he's keeping you at an arm's length. And this lack of effort often signals a deeper emotional withdrawal. It's not that he's just tired or, not in the mood. It's that he's creating distance consciously, or maybe even not consciously, but he's still creating that distance. And physical affection is one of the easiest ways to gauge connection. And if that's disappearing, something is wrong in that connection. The fourth sign, he gets irritated way more easily. Does it feel like everything you do is suddenly annoying him? It's under the microscope. Maybe he snaps at you just over these very small things that, he might even seem like a little bit impatient than usual. This irritability isn't just about his mood, it's a reflection of his emotional state towards himself, but also towards you. And when someone starts to pull away, they often justify their behavior by focusing on what they perceive as problems in the relationship. And this can show up as frustration over things that never used to bother him, but also in many other ways, obviously. And if he's picking fights over nothing or acting overly critical, it's a sign he's projecting his own inner conflict onto you. The fifth sign, he's more focused on himself. And maybe he's throwing himself into work, spending more time at the gym, or suddenly picking new hobbies that don't really involve you. While personal growth is great and we need some space and time alone, for sure, there's a difference between a healthy independence and emotional withdrawal. When a man is distancing himself, he often redirects his energy towards himself or, sometimes towards others because it's easier than confronting what's happening in the relationship and actually face it. If it feels like he's building a life that doesn't include you anymore, you definitely want to pay attention, take notes. The sixth sign, he avoids meaningful conversations, deep conversations, the nitty and gritty of things. Let's talk about the big stuff here. Your future, your feelings. Those things matter so much. And if he's suddenly avoiding these conversations or shutting them down when you bring them up, that's a red flag in itself. This isn't about being bad at talking about emotions. It's about avoiding them, ignoring them even. And when someone is distancing themselves, they don't want to confront the reality of the situation. It's so much easier to live in this illusion, to avoid dealing with a conflict and just try and almost even escape as nothing is there. It's like you dodge these tough conversations altogether. And if he's brushing your concerns with phrases like, let's not overthink this, or don't make a big deal out of this, we are fine, don't worry, it's time to dig deeper, so much more if he reacts that way, okay? The seventh point, he's spending more time away from you. Whether it's these late nights at work, weekends with friends, little trips with friends or family, or even just disappearing into his own world at home, this physical distance often mirrors emotional distance. When someone is pulling away, they'll find ways to create space, whether consciously or not. If you feel like you're spending less and less time together, it's a sign his priorities have shifted and something is not really quite in a harmonious balance between the two of you. Makes sense, right? Then we have the eighth point. He stops complimenting you. Compliments might seem small, but there's such a powerful way to show appreciation and attraction. If you used to notice the little things, your new hairstyle, your accomplishments, or even your bad jokes maybe, but now he doesn't say a word anymore, it's really worth taking note of that. This lack of acknowledgement often signals this deeper disengagement. It's not just about the words themselves, it's about what they represent. And they represent effort, they represent attention, they represent connection, they represent someone paying close attention to the details, to the small things. Okay, and then the ninth one. He seems indifferent. Indifference is the final stage of emotional withdrawal. It's when he stops caring, not just about the relationship, but about how his actions affect you. Maybe he's no longer checking in or apologizing, which is a big deal in itself for many men, or even trying to explain his behavior. Indifference is so dangerous because it signals that he's emotionally checked out, leaving you to carry all the weight of the relationship all alone. These are the 9 signs that really show you, that give you clues how someone is more often than not emotionally distancing himself from you. And if these behaviors resonate, it's time to stop questioning yourself and start asking the right questions about the relationship. Because if we ask the wrong question, we're going to get wrong answers. So we need to ask the right question. Relationships take 2 people to put in effort and energy. And if he's pulling away, you deserve clarity, not breadcrumbs or excuses. You deserve some transparency, what's really going on, so it can either be fixed or something needs to be moved and shifted. But don't jump to conclusions straight away. Have an honest conversation with him. If he's willing to address what's going on, there's a chance to rebuild and change things. If not, just remember, you do deserve someone who is all in, who chooses you, and who cares about your feelings and emotions and doesn't have a foot out of the door. So my question to you now is, have you experienced any of this before? How did it feel? What are the typical traits and signs that you see in men? Maybe those are the 9, maybe there are some other ones. Would love to hear. Please drop it in the comments. And then, as always, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment, let's get into some sort of a conversation here and support each other on this journey of personal growth, love, relationships, dating, and these interpersonal dynamics that can give us so much joy and so much love. And yet at the same time, if not navigated accurately and in the best way possible, surely they can also be a source of pain and suffering. So let's make sure we stay in the joy and in the beauty rather than leaning into the pain.